Hello, Kaloo, how are we doing today? My name is Notepad Anon and alright games for fun, so what are we doing today? Today we're going to be obviously going over Clanhead, Saga of the Dine. Yes, Clanhead, Saga of the Dine, or Dine if you want to be really fucking facetious about things. Yes, this is the new game. We're gonna be working on it. Ta-da! Don't know what you expected, but this is what I do. Started actually on time today. A little bit different than what usually happens, which is things go horribly wrong and I fucking forget something. It's like, oh, it's 7 o'clock, I should stream. Did a little bit of work beforehand. So, I've got the basic lore handed out. Just kind of the setup. So, basic setup. This is the Tir otherwise known as the Island Duine, or the People's Island. That's literally all it means. The Island of the People. You have the Seven Heroes Tale. The Seven Heroes Tale is very simple. This is their creation myth. They killed a god, and God was mad, and so they killed. So seven brave heroes killed a god. And after they did that, they formed the Six Nations because one of them died heroically. Formed a weird cult around him instead. Effectively, as you see, recorded and recounted for the Emperor Maximus and the Anesian Imperial Court, a new Imperial year 510, 12th year of His Majesty's reign, Ave Imperator. The real story is this one. The Anesians were a imperial power. They stumbled across the island and they showed up and they got introduced to people calling themselves the Dina. So they're like, damn, who the fuck are you people? We're gonna conquer the shit out of this island because we can. A camp gave way to a fort, and so that fort became a town. They came across the Adiarch nation, or Adriarch. They were like, hey, we want continental goods, weapons, and civilizations. They wanted laws, technology, and art pieces to impress their peers and build their own footprint. They paid in fur, crop, and their own art. A fair deal to them. The Anesians saw all this shit as tribute. Oh no, there was a fight. Hey, we joined on and legitimately, they joined on the side, be like, we're gonna protect you. So they did, and they crushed everyone, and then they took over. They tried to declare a war. It didn't go very well because they got their shit, fucking nanade, because they didn't know what they were doing. So they legitimately just gave the island a name and they called it Callis because they're like, hey, this is our new island. Fuck you. This is our home now. We're the I can't believe we're not Romans. They had a king, they literally changed his name to it because like, hey, I want to impress you guys so you don't kill me. 3 centuries go by, about 350 years, 320 years go by. Things are not great. Things are now very bad, and now we begin the saga of the Dina. Pretty easy. Did they murder them all? No, the Dina are still around. It's pretty much the idea is that the Anesians could not conquer the rest of the island, but everyone knew they could not take on the Anesians. It became kind of a Cold War situation, and a lot of people just paid tribute, being like, we do not want to fuck with you anymore. Please stop killing us. Please stop sending expeditions into our territory to murder our fucking sheep and burn our homes. We're begging you. And they're like, oh, all right. We will no longer burn your sheep and burn your sheep and sodomize your homes. No, we won't. Unless you don't pay, but then we're gonna do it anyway. So yeah, the Anesians are still around technically, but they're like, hey, we have all that we conquered like half the island, but we can't really manage it all. We don't really want to manage it all, so we're gonna instead pay a bunch of mercenaries in land to manage it for us. And they did. And then the I can't believe they're not Romans invited the Anglo-Saxons and the Moors in. They're like, it's your fucking problem now, not ours. Flash forward to the present day. Everyone's there. No one's getting paid. Things are a little bit wonky. And now you have started that. Now, congratulations, your clan is up and running, and it's up to you to get fucking money. Fuck bitches, get money. You know how it goes. This is a D6 game. At its very core, what you're going to do is you're going to take a number of D6s equal to your skill and your attribute. You're going to roll them. Any die above a 4 is a success. Easy enough. Normally, you're going to need about 1 or 2 successes on most checks. Very little else. However, there's a catch. More successes mean you get better results. It's kind of like degrees of success, a little bit. Well, it is pretty much just a success, but... however, this leads to the boon and bane system. Effectively, if let's say I have 6d6 is my pool. Actually, let's say 5d6 is my pool. Doing pretty alright. I'm gonna roll my dice. If I have boon 2, that means any die that is not a 1 is a success. I rolled extremely well in this case, but I have a 2, I have 2 4s, a 6, and a 5. Cool. Boon 2 means I've scored 5 successes, because I just need a 2 up. I legitimately succeed on anything that isn't a 1. However, Bane 2 means anything a 6 or higher is a success now, so I would have 1 success, as I only have a single 6. This does lead to the extremes of Boon 3, Bane 3, which is Bane 3 means you physically cannot succeed, and Boon 3 means you physically cannot fail. However, those are pretty extreme situations, and you really shouldn't be, if you have Bane 3 in something, don't do it, or try to get some boons in there. That's kind of the idea there. Yeah, 7 up. Roll a 7 up on a 6. On a D6. It is supposed to be, you know, it's like most fortunate situations. That's why I say it's like, this is a impossible task for you to actually do. If you have 3 Banes, you cannot succeed. It is physically impossible to score any successes. You're under Bane 3, go out, get away from that situation. Reassess or get some fucking boons. Get your pals in, get your boys in. Get some advantage now because you need it. Yeah, generally speaking, I'm assuming this is going to be the main one, Boon 1, Bane 1. Anything here is like, okay, this is pretty extreme. This is like, holy shit, extreme. Of course, extended actions. I've been meaning to put more extended actions in these things. It's not usually too complex. Then we have the idea of death and time. I wanted to make a point being like, hey, Callis is unforgiving, you're going to die. That's kind of the idea. It's like, you are going to die in this game. Character is not going to get back up, and there's going to be a moment where you are going to pass away. But hey, understand that your character is going to die one day, and breathe as much life into them as you can. Life is fleeting, so live it fully. It's kind of the idea of being like, be extreme characters right off the bat. Don't like, oh well, I need to like build things up. No, have problems, do things, because your character's going to die. You don't know if there's going to be a 5-year time skip, and I want to be like, there's going to be time skips, and there's going to be things where it's like, you're going to die. My abs are cramping so hard where I was stitched back together, and it looks like I have a 6-pack. I'm also in excruciating pain. What I'm thinking, Ironside, is maybe you should start bulking. Start bulking. That's what I'm saying. Bulk. Sounds like you've been shredding too much. Consume the entire lard bottle. We're bulking. We're bulking with no return. I'm big enough. You're not big enough, obviously, if you're in pain. So start bulking some more. Or when in doubt, bulk and shred. Oof, avocado sounds good. Avocados sound good. It's been a while since I've had like a good avocado. They're off season here, so they're a little expensive, more expensive than usual. And I don't like getting like, every now and again I will get like the little avocado spread you can get, and it's decent, but it's like, oh, please pay us $8. I'm like, fuck you, fuck that. I'm gonna talk about this because I just want to make sure that this is here. Also, in case you are, wondering, this VSONA here is historically inaccurate, incredibly historically inaccurate, because there is no evidence of the Gaelic Scotsmen wearing tartan. Until about the 16th century. There's no historical basis for it. But why did I do it? Well, because it looks cool, okay? And if you say Scottish Gaelic in anything, it's gonna pop up a Scotsman. You're either gonna get Braveheart or you're gonna get a naked man. As you can see, we have Scottish Manly. Have no fear. Our Dina Manly. He's got his mace. He's got his armored little hat on. Which was a pain in the ass to make, by the way. That is probably one of the more intricate Manlies that I've actually made for very silly reasons. But I did learn a lot about tartan. Learned a lot about tartan, and it was like, oh, why is this so deep? But yes, so 3 tiers of play. 3 tiers of play. Clanhead has 3 main tiers of play that the PL will engage with. Each tier pulls out the scope of the event. Let's see. Each tier pulls out the scope of the adventure and their perspective on matters. Different bards will focus on different tiers. Different bards will focus on different tiers, and different bards will focus on different tiers. But this handbook will go over each of them in detail. I don't think my mom quite has understood that I can't watch her Instagram videos she sends me. Like, most of the time, anytime you hear my phone go off, that's my mother sending me an Instagram video that I can't watch because I am not on Instagram. Let's see. Let's see. The day-to-day lives of clansmen and their allies. The personal struggles. Why she doesn't know you don't have Instagram. I've told her. She just keeps sending them to me. So that's why I end up just replying. I just keep replying, being like, yeah, that's a really funny video. Or, haha. PL will engage in the personal struggles. Let's see. The PL will engage in the personal struggles of their clansmen. Let's see. Engage in the personal struggles of the clansmen and battle it out with sword and. Will engage in the personal struggles of their clansmen, forcing them to forcing them to act or endure the wrath of Callis. It would be the clan tier. The clan tier focuses on the family. Let's see. The clan tier focuses on the family, allowing the clansmen to manage their familial affairs and rally their men to their banners. Generally, this focuses more on the management angle. Management of their assets, and personal ties to one another. Finally, the domain tier. Technically, I guess that would be the correct word, but we'll use the domain tier. Is the farthest out, as the clan is represented as just a single entity on the vast board of Callis, acting against their rivals to shift the political balance of these. Let's see. Acting against their rivals to shift the political balance of the island, and maybe even find themselves a king of their people. There we go. What are we doing tonight? We're going to be working on Clanhead. The main goal today, the main drive, you could say, I want to start on character creation, and I want to hopefully get it into a decent place. We know how to play at this point. We've got that done. We need to learn how to make a character now, because the characters are going to inform how we're going to engage with the game. So, creating the clan. Creating the clan. As the most important part of the most important part of Callis is the clan. To the Dina, the clan is the basic formation of basic building block of society, allowing family and their associates to be bound together by blood and oath. The Anesians, Morin, and Somi adopted variations of this. Variations of this clan structure, themselves, changing its nature, to fit their way of life. When creating the clan in Dina society, there are two types of clans. How do I want to lower and greater? Lower clans are the regular people and their immediate families. Immediate families. Many own, many work the land of others. Many work the land of others, or survive on meager wages elsewhere. As a family and little more. The great clans are landowners, whether are landowners or powerful in their own right. Others work the land they own, and they enjoy the spoils of their labor. In different parts of the island. Different parts of the island represent great clans differently. The Damned are based on fleets, based on boats. Work their own, enjoy the spoils of their labor. Not to say the great clans, powerful or wealthy. Many are poor themselves. Many are as poor as the workers in their fields. Only subsisting on what they can grow or feed their Oh. Where did the whole "you X me, therefore you must marry me" concept come from? Watching a recap when getting ready for work. Guy catches a mermaid and now he has to marry her. In what context? In like Japanime context? In Japanime context, usually the idea there is we need to get these two characters together as fast as possible, and we're not going to think about it anymore. It's like, hey, magical girlfriend, here's a magical girlfriend thing. You've caught a mermaid and you're gonna have to marry her because that's an entire thing that we're never gonna dwell on very much. That's all you must know. If you're looking at more of like a historical context, usually it's the idea of taboos and sacred stuff going on. It's like, hey, I'm expecting a child with you. You have to marry me to make sure that this is fine. All right. Hey, we do enjoy each other's company. You have to marry me now because of this. Hey, my family bought you. We're going to get married. You know how it goes. We are literally politically, if we do not marry, there will be a war. So, herds. Kind of need to explain, like, hey, clans are. These are what clans are. The clansmen are part of a great clan. Whether they are related, by blood or oath, they are part of the family. They are part of the family, and will be treated as such. One of the clansmen, actually will be treated as such. So we're going to then do heading 2, which we're going to talk about. So do we want to open up with creating Actually, we'll do every clan is only as strong as clansmen who make it up. Many of the great clans have a number of family members, as well as loyal friends and companions who have been sworn in by oath to their effectively. The idea is, hey, if you want to play an Indonesian family and one of you wants to play a Damned, you can. You've just sworn an oath to them. That's the idea. You've sworn an oath to the family, and you're part of the family. You may not be one of them, but you are kind of related by, hey, we bought you. Like, yeah, it's like, hey. Things like that. Like, sworn by oath to the rank. Sworn by oath to the rank. Initial clansmen will be created by following these steps, recounting their history up to this point in their lives. The PL are encouraged to discuss among themselves where they are going to be setting up the clan, their great clan, as well as the expectations. As well as the expectations. We're going heading 3 right off the bat, and we're going to start off with not concept. Actually, I guess we should start with attribute. I guess we do with attributes and skills. Before creating a clansman, they should each one should familiarize themselves with the attributes and skills available to the clans. Available to them. Let's see. Familiarize something with the attributes and skills available. Each attribute ranked out is ranked out of 10. Actually, out of 10. Ranked out of 10. What an attribute. An attribute of 1 is very deficient. Actually, I really want to. Hello. Let's see. With 1 being below average, and 10 being the pinnacle of human achievement. Beasts and each attribute is rated 1 to 10, with 1 being below average and 10 being the pinnacle of human achievement. Every clansman and character begins with at least 1 in every attribute, representing being able to perform what's expected of them. Let's see, how do I want to do this? This 1 in every attribute representing the ability to perform what's expected of them. Every attribute contributes 1d6 to their dice pool for any check they are making. Thus, having a higher attribute means having more dice available to them. However, attributes rarely increase. Only under specific circumstances. Will a clansman grow? Only under specific circumstances will a clansman increase their potential attributes. Increase their attributes. They will increase. One of these situations is aging. Which will slowly degrade certain attributes. Which will slowly degrade the attributes of the clansmen as well. Hey, you're getting older. You're getting a little bit more attributes, but you're losing some as well. It's like, hey, you're not having a good time. You're going to, like, attributes I want to be like, yeah, these are fairly consistent. Every attribute contributes 1d6. And there are going to be 7 of them. So, table. That. Hello to the big think board. Martial, vigor, stewardship, cunning, esoterica. Martial, vigor, stewardship, learning, social, erica, and got one. Cunning. I'm cunning. I didn't mean to hit an N. Yes. So, okay, so... we're gonna do the clansman, the clansman's talent, the clansman talent, and... actually, natural finesse, finesse. Actually, no, the natural finesse, awareness, natural finesse, awareness, senses, and ability to act with grace. The clansmen, actually, no one be clansmen, and be clansmans, battlefield awareness, battlefield skill with bow and blade, as well as natural attunement to warfare. The clan's physical fitness, strength, constitution, and bodily health. Acumen is a fun word to say. Acumen in dealing with matters of civic duty, and interacting with larger groups. The clansman's it's natural. What would be a good charismatic presence and sense of self among others, and let's see, scholarly topics, and let's see, understanding of bookish scholarly topics, and advanced theories. The clansmen's more let's see, how do I want to word this? It would like, how would you word like more street practical knowledge? How about that? The clansman's more practical or esoteric or more or weird. Practical or weird knowledge of obtuse topics or people. There we go. Cunning is for if you want to learn something. Esoteric is, hey, I am trying to figure out what the fuck you're on about. But it's like, yep, hello, I know things that you don't. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? I'm a weird motherfucker. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Don't worry, I'm just fucking weird. What? And then finally, charismatic presence. The first syllable. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. Oh yeah, I should comment on this because I find it funny, and you're all trapped in here with me. I watched a thing the other night. I watched a thing called Angel Gabby. Uh, it's very good. I usually don't like any of that, like, I usually don't like any of that, like, analog horror stuff. I'm usually not a big fan of that. But I watched, it was the Angel Gabby, or Angel Hair. Hare, as like a rabbit. I watched that series last night. It's like, you can watch the entire thing in like a half an hour. It's really good. I don't know why. It just spoke to me a little bit more than I was thinking of. I think it was because I kind of knew what they were, like the cartoons they were talking about, and like the shows and stuff they were referencing. I'm like, I don't know those. I remember engaging with these when I was a young child. It's very good. It's very interesting. Kind of charming. Like, each episode's like 2 minutes, like 2-3 minutes. I'm like, oh, I'm interested in the, I'm interested in where this story is going. Acumen dealing with matters of civic duty and... Yeah, this is I will show everyone it because I can, because this is my nightmare. This is Angel Hair. That's all it is. It's like a weird, thank God Manly's there. We're gonna put that right there. We're not gonna move. But yeah, this is Angel Hair. It's weird. There's enough going on with it to inspire to get the noggin jogging. Let's just say that. There's enough going on with it to get the noggin jogging. Don't know why, but it totally is. I was trying to definitely avoid the rampant pornography about it already. It's about a fucking cartoon rabbit, you sick fucks. Skills. Does anyone actually like analog horror? Just tell me. Is that like a thing that people are like, oh no, I'm super scared? Like the Mandela catalog? I think that's what it's supposed to be called. Is anyone scared of that? Is anyone like in that at all? I do not get it. What were you just talking about? I was talking about a thing I watched last night called Angel Hair. Angel Hair was it's a web series you can watch about a guy finding a VCR copy of an old cartoon he watched as a kid, and he's like, wait a second, this is not like what I remember. And then he's watching old recorded copies of it from his childhood, and more recent, and like like a release version of it. It's like, oh, there's something different. Why is she speaking like this? Like, why is it so weird? And it's only 6 episodes technically. Then they did they're doing a sequel series, sort of. It's not, there isn't that much of it on YouTube. It's actually very interesting. Thank you, got Legitimine. Thank you for following, Legitimine. I'm gonna, I thought at first it was legit anime. I was like, I'm getting worried now. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. But yeah, hello, welcome following. I'm asking people, does anyone like analog horror at all? Does anyone engage with that? I've been trying to figure out more horror stuff. Because I'm thinking I'm torn between what I want to do this month. I'm thinking about doing a horror video, being like, here's just horror games. Here's why horror is hard in tabletop games. Here is why. Yeah, is like basically horror of the mundane and everyday. I'm like, yeah, I get that. Like liminal spaces and things like that. I was like, oh, I get liminal space horror. I'm like, ooh, yeah, I get this. I've been in places that are just very eerie and unright, and you're like, oh, okay, I get why people would be spooked of this. But like the back rooms got weird. Because the back rooms aren't the back rooms anymore. It's like SCP, but stupider. And what's that green text? Being like, oh, thank God, on floor 75, I have to fight Skibbity Toilet, and I can defeat him by shoving 3 crayons up my nose and reciting, Limp Bizkit's entire album history backwards, or something. It'd be like, I've defeated the Skibbity Toilet. I was like, what? This isn't. I don't get the back rooms anymore. That shit's weird. Anytime you like Google like back room stuff, all that it is like guys in hazmat suits with guns. I'm like, the second you add guns to any horror situation, it gets wonky. Like, again, it's like SCP, and I hate SCP. But here's the thing, I don't know if I hate SCP because SCP is terrible, or I don't like SCP because I kind of got into it much later. Like, I walked into this, and it was just shit. Like, every SCP entry I've, like, read or anything like that has always been, like, and then 10 million MTF agents' balls were evaporated instantaneously by SCP-642, the Ball Smasher, or whatever. I'm like, is this supposed to be scary? Is it supposed to be, like, eerie? This is more like it's just goofy. Like, it's, like, I'm not, like, getting spooked. I'm not thinking of anything. I'm just like, this is dumb. Yeah, I've been trying to find more horror stuff, because I find horror interesting, especially in tabletop role-playing games, because it is I would say horror is the hardest genre to do in a tabletop game. The absolute most difficult thing to do, because you have other people. Mao, do you know what 642 actually is? No, I don't know what 642 fucking is. I just said a random number. It's gonna be the Ball Smasher or something, isn't it? Oh, sorry, it's actually a fucking super kill bot. It's made of, like, dildo. Oh, of course. Of course, it sterilizes men. Call me fucking psychic, Horace. My favorite technique, the Ball Smasher. Because I know there was, yeah, there was this one came out, and it was Liminal Horror TRPG. For $8, you can buy the Liminal Horror RPG, with the real horror being its third-party license. I looked at this, I'm like, why would you ever go over this? Like, this doesn't seem like liminal horror is more like a place for me, if that makes sense. Like, it's more about, oh, this is spooky to be, like, just in this. People keep buying, I don't know why people buy these things. Like, it's more like, oh, I'm like, ew. Yeah, liminal horror is a place. You get what I mean, but it's like it's a lonely place, if that makes sense. It's not like, hey, you're not like, how do I want to word it? It's like, anytime someone says, oh, this is a liminal horror game, and there's like another person with you, or it's like 3 people in a back room, a multiplayer game or something, I'm like, this isn't spooky anymore, this is goofy. And it's just places. It's spooky because you're like, ooh, I don't like this. This is, ooh, it's supposed to be icky. Like, I think it does a little bit. Yeah, I think it does. And I was listening to Red Letter Media talk about Barbarian, actually. I watched Barbarian. I didn't like Barbarian very much. I think Barbarian was thinking it was a lot smarter than it actually was. And sometimes the characters do very weird things. And it's like, they don't do things that make sense. they do things that make sense if everyone is in a horror movie. That's kind of what I got from Barbarian. I'm like, I understand why people like it. I understand why people don't like it. But that was kind of the thing, being like, with two people you can kind of see it, but then it's like, okay, that's too much now. Like, any more than that, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't get this. Ow. Alright, skills. Yeah, no, it's picture this, you're trapped in a liminal space with a friend. Would stop being... Yeah, it really would stop being spooky to me. Because I'm with my friend. And... for me, anyway... having that closeness with another person... just being like, hey, this is a person. This is someone I know. This is something I feel a little bit more comfortable with it. As if that makes sense. And like, alright, like I can kind of get that. I suppose a complete stranger would make it scary? Maybe, but there's still that humanity aspect, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, there's that sense of humanity, which is, I think, the big thing that makes liminal horror spooky. Is there's nothing here, there may never have been anything here. You're just in a place alone, and it's really eerie. But with another person, you're adding that humanity to it. You can talk to them, they can respond back there, unless they're like, ooh, I'm a little goblin man, and I'm going to touch your hair while you sleep. Ooh, like that. I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, you're just fucking spooky. Like, I would be scared of you in a fucking Walmart. Like, I'm not going to call Walmart a liminal space. Like, you're just a weird dude. And so that kind of diminishes the horror as well. It's just like, I'm not scared of the place anymore. I'm scared of, like, the weird goblin man right by me. Let's see. Skill. If attributes are broadly applied to many different fields. Skills are particular applications of those attributes. Let's see. Skills are particular applications of those attributes. Each skill is ranked out of 250. Each skill is ranked out of 250. With which may seem very large. Each skill is ranked out of 250, but only the most dedicated will ever reach that in one skill. It will only reach that in one skill. Over the course of an entire lifetime. Yeah, we're going to go up to 250. And you're like, yeah, you can dump a lot of points into like a specific thing. For every 10 points, for every 10 points in a skill, the clansman will add another d6 to their dice pool. We'll add another 1d6 to their dice pool. Thus having a 20 in a skill, having a 20 in the skill will add plus 2d6 to their check. To their check. Unlike attributes, skills increase regularly. The skills increase regularly with use. For Did horror peak with Lovecraftian gothic horror? Not really. I think everyone's got like a different thing when it comes to horror. Like, I don't like horror very much. I'm not a horror guy, but I love like slasher films. I adore slasher. But some slashers I don't like. Terrifier, I do not like Terrifier. I tried to watch it. My mom loves Terrifier. I cannot. There's no plot to Terrifier. Nothing occurs for a reason. It's just dumb things happening for dumb reasons. But then you see like the Friday the 13th movies, which have a flimsy plot most of the time, but there's still sometimes a plot. Especially those first few movies where it's like, oh, there's actually like things going on. Characters have reasons. There are like things happening. Then, you know, they brought in a psychic girl for one, which we don't talk about, but hey. And then Jason goes to outer space. Like twice. Jason X is an art piece, and anyone who says otherwise is banned. But like even like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, those are really well done. But the later ones, of course. You have the Halloween movies. I'm a big fan of Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. My mom loves that movie. I enjoy it quite a bit. It is a very different movie than the rest of the Halloween series, but it's a good movie. But like Michael Myers is actually a pretty interesting character, and I will actually fight and defend the last movie in the most recent like trilogy. I don't think they were good movies. I liked the third one though. The third one probably did not need to be that movie. It could have been its own thing and it would be really good. There was even fuck. Should have been an hour and in an anthology series. Well, that was the original intent, but Halloween 1 did so well. They're like, well, let's keep doing it. Let's keep doing Michael. Because Michael Myers made a lot of money and people like Michael. What was it? The Rise of Leslie Vernon. This is the one. Behind the Mask. This is actually a really good movie. It's a really interesting movie, and everyone should watch it if you like horror movies. Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Because the entire idea is a documentary set in a world where killers depicted in famous slashes movies are historical figures. Prepper Leslie Vernon prepares to join the ranks of other slasher villains. And Leslie claims to be a boy from the local urban legend who supposedly became possessed and killed his family before being killed by the townsfolk. But having a fact and survived the attack. He walks Taylor and her crew through his plans, but refuses to explain his motives. Like that, it's kind of the idea, like it's like a documentary of a slasher villain. It's very fascinating. It's a fun movie. I don't think you can find it. I think it's on Netflix, maybe. Skills are used regularly and will improve with use. More the more amore. Let's see. Allowing fresh-faced recruits to become hardened veterans with time. at every interval of 50. Actually, no. At 100. At no, yeah. Like French would become hardened veterans with time. There we go. While each skill is associated with an attribute, these associations do not impact the learning ability of the clansman. Allowing a week of body, actually allowing a frail man to learn how to use their body efficiently for a frail man to learn how to allowing a frail man to become a expert rider or a socially awkward individual to be comfortable at the negotiation table. A socially awkward individual to be comfortable at the negotiation table. It's kind of the idea being like, hey, having a really high social does make learning these things a lot easier. You know, it makes your life a lot easier, but there isn't really any like restrictions necessarily. I might change that later, I might not. It really depends on the situation. There's a few options there. Individual to be comfortable at the negotiation table. Oh, SpaghettiOs. Let's see. How do I want to? Because each one of these has three skills each. So if we do table 1, 2, 3, 4, if we do 4, we do something like this. We put them together like moi. Cells together, so cutting becomes, these are all cutting skills. Roguery, scouting, adroitness. We need to select this, we need to pin the header row, we need to sort table, sort ascending, there we go. So this is what we're going to do for each of them. So I mean, if we do something like this, so there are 7, 3, 4, 5, 7. Let's keep it like this. Don't know what's going on there, so I'm not gonna think about it, okay? See, if I don't see it, it's not a problem. That's what I've learned. Game design 101, everyone. If you can't see the problem, it's not real. Esoterica. It's Esoterica Learning Martial. Social stewardship. Stewardship and Vega. Vigor. You've got the invigoration. Ah, the invigoration. Do you have that vigor in your heart? Vigor in your soul? Learning is still a little bit up in the air because I don't know. How do I want to do that? So, occultism, lore and circles. Learning, medicine, engineering. Currently it's sailing, but I really don't know. That's going to be one I'm going to have to probably shift around a little bit because it's a little bit jank. Melee range tactics. Social is negotiate, decorum, negotiate, decorum, banter. What are you doing over there, stepbrother? Bantering. What do you want to do? Banter. Leadership. Riding. Okay, let's write all of these. So, a droid is... Sweet. So, rogue, let's just start, See, seen the unseen. Sleight of hand, sleight of hand, and stealth. Clansmen. The clansmen's talent of finesse and dexterous displays. Actually, no, we want to do coordination. Coordination and skill. Circles. The Verd and Veerd. All it is, just weird shit. A medicine. Human anatomy and medical practices. The clansmen's study of civic and military engineering. How are you gonna build a siege ramp with the engineering skill? I'm gonna keep sailing there. because we don't need it right now. Melee. In melee weapons and brawling. Clansmen's training in thrown and ranged weapons. Tactics. I should say traditional. Traditional range weapons. I'm going to make a note about that when it comes to tradition, because this was a big note that the commissioner does want this to have a gun, so we're working that in. So what's the major difference between Pathfinder and 5e? Well, there's quite a few differences, depending on which version of Pathfinder. If you want to do Pathfinder 1e, Pathfinder 1e is more closely associated with 3.5, especially the end of the 3.5 era, and you can very much call it the successor to that. If you want, 5e is all about, how do I want to word it? 5e is about keeping all of your options to be the most milquetoast possible. You're going to be doing one specific thing in one specific way, the most specific way possible. Pathfinder, on the other hand, is a lot more about, here's 1,000 options, what do you want to do with it? You're going to have to manage your feats, you're going to have to manage all these different little quirks and trips and all these fun things. Make sure you got your, make sure you calculate your babs, your will save, your fort saves, and all these other things. D&D doesn't, 5e does not manage that. 5e is like, we're going to make sure that you have the most amount of fun, most amount of clinical levels of fun as you can. Pathfinder 2e, on the other hand, is a different beast than both of them. Pathfinder 2e is a lot more about, let's split up a lot of the class features, a lot of class ideas, into being their own thing. You have a bunch of ideas, a bunch of concepts, but it is that kind of 3.5 fort will and all these things, but everything's tiered out. You don't just have a fort save. You are trained in your fort save. You are expert at your fort save. You're mastered it. You're legendary in your fort save. You don't have this feat. You have 3 different feats that do slightly different things that interact with other parts of the system differently. Make sure you got your right spell casting limits and things like that. So that's that. Do you want something deep? You want something complex? And just a lot more options? Pathfinder's the way to go. If you want something that's going to get you into a game quickly, D&D 5e. The clansmen. Negotiate. Where is this? Banter. Etiquette and word and upper classes negotiate. That would be a good word. Acumen. Synonym. Clever sense of diplomatic, I need to talk with my peasants. I need to talk with my lords. I need to talk with the merchants or another person to negotiate the release of someone. Like, it's kind of like it kind of goes from the formality of things. Banter is very informal. Decorum is very formal. Negotiate's kind of right in the middle there, but it's very utilitarian. You don't use negotiate if you want to convince someone to be your friend. You use negotiate to convince them to give you money. You don't use decorum to convince your peasants to do things. You use banter. You don't use banter to convince your noble friends to help you out. No. You use decorum. It's etiquette. Words. Trade. Guilds and traders. Pious. Piety. Pious. Religious, devout. Faithful. Ties to the kirks and faiths. Kirk and faith, to the kirks and shrines. And faiths of Callis. Leadership, the clansman's natural ability to lead men into battle. It's kind of the idea being like, yes, you can lead men into battle. Having really high leadership is awesome. That you can lead more men into battle, you're doing really good. Make God help you if you don't have tactics, though. It's kind of the idea, like someone with insanely high leadership and no tactics is kind of the person who is really good at the, like, strict knowledge of things. They can make sure, they can lead a massive army anywhere you need to go. They are really good at the order mastery, at managing armies, making sure that the logistics of the whole affair goes. When you actually get into a battle, though, things get a little bit hectic. Tactics is more, you're in the heart of things. You are in the field. It's, when we get to how warband combat's going to go, it's like tactics is going to be, you are making the calls on the field. You are leading a bunch of men around. You are making those particular calls. That's kind of the in the heart of the combat situation. Leadership's going to be, you might be back at camp. You might be overlooking the battle from a hill, being like, yep, this is the plan. There's going to be mass combat then. Yes, there's going to be mass combat. It's going to be hex based. What I'm going to do is you're going to pretty much get my idea is twofold. Either A, you're going to get a pretty much hire out a bunch of people. It's going to be a lot less formal. It's depending on what you have and like where you're getting them. You're just going to be able to recruit a certain number of men. Like, hey, you have a, it's kind of one of those things of like, hey, you have 100, you're running a village, you have 100 men. You can choose with the current things that you have invested in, whatever, you can choose to make these basic militia or bow, like spear militia or bow militia. Those are your two options. I have 100 men that I can just rally up whenever I need to. I want to have 2 squads of 25 spear militia and one 50-man unit of fucking archers. What are we gonna do? We're gonna sit here and hold the fucking line. That is the goal. Who's leading what? You're going to have a guy sitting in the back probably being like, yep, we're going to manage this little army. Of course, as things go on, it's like, hey, you have higher tier soldiers. Make into better soldiers. Make into worse soldiers. That's kind of the idea. It's going to be hence why controlling forts are going to be fairly important, because you can use forts to get better soldiers. Forts don't make you money, they make you glory, and they make you so you can have more soldiers. Hence, the man who controls a castle is incredibly strong because he can just have more dudes on the field. As for, like, single-person combat will most likely be almost entirely based on theater of the mind. It's going to be a lot just within ranges and stuff. I feel it's going to be very quick and bloody. That's what I kind of want those initial... If you ever get to a point where you're sitting around a table and someone draws a knife on you, and you draw a knife and you draw your blade, there's two guys with knives going with you, you're going to have to defend yourself, and it's going to be a pretty, bloody fight. And how I want to do that, I don't quite know yet, because there's a few different ways of doing that, and not one of them is flawless. That makes sense. There's no, like, perfect way of doing things. I'll kind of play with that as we get to it. We're not going to be getting to it right away, so hopefully we don't have to think about it. A little fucking fly flying around. The clansmen, collision, to riding the many horses of Callis. The many horses of Callis. Physicality. The clansmen's fitness, physical fitness, and oh no! GM, I need to... We're running away from something. What do we need? What do I need to roll? Make me a physicality check. Okay. Cool, I rolled a jillion sixes, and I'm gonna fucking win, because I'm super cool that way. Labor. Depends on work. There we go. Because one of the big things here is that all of them do kind of go to different places. You can kind of apply certain ones of these in different areas and do things a little bit differently than you might want, which I'm going to put the big note down here for, which is... I still hurt. Take some ibuprofen maybe at this point if you're still in agonizing pain. Better yet, just drink alcohol, numb the pain. Let's see, we want to do the while every skill is tied to an attribute. This does not mean that they are eternally bound to it. There may be times when the clansman will roll a skill with a different attribute. For example, For example, making a social plus circles check would imply the clansman is cohorting, would be carousing and trying to find particular people, while learning plus circles would be finding academics. Who may be of assistance. Not every skill is easily shifted this way, but most can be negotiated. Most can be approved with the right circumstances. It's kind of like, I want to kind of put this note here being like, hey, you can switch skills around. If you think something is going to be appropriate, this is going to be fine. It's also giving me an out later when we do get to kind of the warband combat system, because it's like, hey, how do we determine how good my unit is? Well, what's your martial skill? Hey, I have a melee of 50, and I'm with these guys. You're going to be adding dice because you're in that unit with them. You are a fucking leader of men. You're going to lead these guys to victory. You are really damn good at your job. However, you're also in the heart of the combat, and if that unit gets fucked up, you're going to get fucked up. If things go wrong, you're taking damage. You're getting hurt. And they're going to try to get you out of there if they can, so it's kind of like, hey, if you get targeted or a duel breaks out between you and another character, character in there, kind of the idea. Oh god. Yeah, I got nothing for you, Iron. I don't even think medication would help with that. Actually, and I'm gonna put this note in because I feel it is important. Big note here. Actually, we haven't put any art here, and we're gonna put something right here. We've got some big things here. We're gonna put a. What do I want to do? Use like we've explained attributes and skills. I guess we can do something like. If we do something like this, and then we put one final note of skills, we can put an image right there. We put an image right here. A bigger image. I guess we can do. I guess we do that. We put an image right there, and then we do. Okay, yeah, and we put the. In addition to all of these basics, skills, characters, the clansmen may choose to invest in some personal skills. To invest in some personal skills throughout their lives. This could be simply a talent for song and a talent for singing, for performance, or a This could simply be a talent for performance or a uncanny ability at discerning quality of painting. This could be simply a talent for performance or an uncanny ability quality for painting. Whenever a personal skill is chosen, they will write it in as if it was a regular skill in the blank They'll write it in as if it was a regular skill, as if it was a regular skill underneath an attribute of their choice. However, in it, all basic skill, personal skill. This may also extend. This also extends to specialties. When a clansman adopts a specialty, they will write in a particular focus for that skill as well, increasing that skill in tandem with the original one. For example, a diamond. We'll do an Indonesian painter. Choose an Indonesian artist chooses to invest a personal skill into painting. This is their passion and life. Later on, they develop a specialty for one of their skill. They develop a specialty for one of their skills. Choosing. Later on, they develop a specialty for one of their skills. They choose artistic fellow artists among fellow artists with a circle specialty, actually they choose Duine art as a lore specialty. Should they identify or look deeper into the ancient Duine's art, they will increase both their lore skill and Duine arts and special. There we go. Hey, this is kind of like a weird mechanic. I might do some little things here to kind of patch that up. Probably we can put a vertical one, like a vertical piece right here, asset right there. That's nicely. Might put a side note in there as well. So we're now going to we've described all of the possible skills. We're going to do story of a clan. You fucked up, dude. I get you. I have a scar in my heart every time I push myself a little bit. It feels like someone's stabbing me in the heart. You got this, bro. There's something you noticed over a while, and I don't understand, but I get it. Just like characters, stories have the effect. If the story starts out silly, eventually you'll get serious to a grim degree. If the story starts out grim dark, eventually you get a silly cartoon. Get silly like a cartoon. Well, because things are boring after a while. That's like a big thing. You get things like 40k, for example, where 40k was goofy to begin with, then it got really serious, and then it became goofy again because everyone took itself way too seriously. You get things like the modern cartoons. They try to get like, oh, we want to be dark and edgy because they were from 2012 Tumblr people who are like, that was the epitome of storytelling, was cute thing becoming dark. If you're looking at like Japanime, that's just kind of a narrative trope they enjoy. Here's something goofy, here's someone incredibly serious to kind of contrast, because contrasting is fun. If you're looking at like just general, I guess you could kind of call it the general narrative trope of, hey, it's contrasting. That's the ultimate thing. Contrast is fun, because what you can do is you can highlight the goodness of a setting by bringing out someone unequivocally evil. Adventure Time did that actually quite well with the Lich. Like, the Lich contrasts incredibly well. Everyone goes on magical adventures and all that, then the fucking Lich shows up, and you're like, oh fuck. Oh sweet baby fucking Christ, he's horrible. Like, he's just this undead abomination. He does terrible things, and some of the shit he says is just completely uncomfortable. On the other hand, you can get some more, like, goofy moments in, like, really serious works where you just need to break tension more than anything. Just a goofy, silly moment. I mean, hell, you have, like, the entire Fly episode from Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is about two terrible people being terrible within a society of terrible people. There's an entire episode effectively dedicated to one of them killing a fly. And it's like this deadly serious event, and people are falling over. It's just goofy, but it's deadly serious, and it's very funny, but also it kind of contrasts with the current state of affairs. This single fly is such a massive problem to their operation, and they're doing things just to get rid of it, and it's this entire fucking gag of a situation, but it's like, oh, this is why, because, you know, this silly situation is erupting because of something not very silly. The story of a clansman. Story of a clansman. Ow. I think I've shredded up my throat a little bit. Oh god, something silly is going on in my server, and my throat hurts as well. So, here's what I'm going to do, because I still need to record stuff for tonight. I'm going to call it there. However, there's a few things going to go, that's a few things that's going to happen. One, I'm going to get this part done. I just need to write in a bunch of it's legitimately just going to be, like, writing. That's all it's going to be. It's just going to be me sitting here and just, like, writing bullshit lore. It's just going to take time. And I want to get the look exactly the way I want it to, so that's just going to be very long and complicated. So I'm going to call it here. We didn't get too much done, but we're making good progress on things. Because once we get this, once the creating the clan section is done, generally speaking, we're pretty much in the clear. Like, it's at that point, we start having to deal with other little things. Once we start getting into, we're going to start with clansmen, and then we're going to go immediately into how to build a clan. If things go according to plan, we will be doing the clan stuff on Wednesday. We're just going to hammer through all of that. We're going to be, like, detailing, like, what does the clan structure look like? What does this look like? This look like? And then we're going to transition into... Probably I'm going to break it down like that, kind of the 3 tiers. We're going to start with, here's your personal scale. You're in a fight, what occurs? You're doing this, what occurs? We're going to go to the clan phase, which is like, hey, the clan tier where you're kind of dealing with kind of broader issues, this like hey, we're also going to kind of talk at that point anyway about the nature of death. What advancement really looks like. And being like, hey, how do you cycle in a new character? You've died, you have a new character, what do you want to do? Here is how you approach the situation now. Which goes to the final one, which is domain. Domain is going to be lists. That is going to be, we're going to do probably a 4-hour stream of me sitting here and going over lists. And we're just going to write in things. I'm probably going to do like a very raw, just very linear advancements on many things, because we just need to keep things as easy, as simple as possible. But yeah, I'm gonna call it there because my throat's dying and I want to eat. Hungry. So thank you, Godspeed, good luck, you know the rest.